I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have roll call?
Yes. Jason Decker, Mary Lee Hall,
Here.
Samantha Hall,
Here.
William Hall,
Here.
Jeremy Hack,
Here.
Jennifer Henkel,
Here.
Nathan Henkel,
Here.
Lisa Staller,
Here.
Joseph Wilson.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Item 2A, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion. Second? Second. Any discussion? If you approve the motion, vote aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item 3, minutes approval. I'll entertain a motion to approve the June 11th, 2026 minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Brings us to reports. We have the student representative report from our new student representative, Logan Trimble. Welcome, Logan.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm excited to be the student representative for the board this year. Just a little bit about myself, since I'll be working with you for the rest of this year. I attended Southern Elementary School, the middle school, and I'm currently a senior at this high school. While in high school, I've held many leadership positions on student council, like helping plan different events at the high school. In the Chief Science Officer program, I organized 4 STEM panels my freshman year and implemented an annual elective showcase at the high school where 8th and 9th grade students were able to see the electives offered at our high school prior to scheduling for the following year. I'm a highly active member in the orchestra. I play the violin in the SHS String Orchestra, the full orchestra, the Select Strings Ensemble, the String Quartet, which is student-led. I also participated in the pit orchestra for the musicals my freshman and sophomore year, and have attended many honors orchestras up to the district level. I have also served as an officer for the last 4 years, reaching president of the orchestra my senior year. While not in school and playing the violin, I'm also an avid runner on both the varsity cross-country team and the track and fields team. While on the cross-country team, I competed at the state level my sophomore year and was named to the 2025 YIAA first team for Division II. I'm also a member of the York Youth Symphony Orchestra and Hanover Symphony Orchestra. I also enjoy skiing and love participating in local trail runs. But now for my first report. I'm excited to welcome everyone back to the school and hope that everyone had a great summer. I hope everyone at the middle school was able to attend the open house on Monday. Currently, as we speak, the elementary is holding their open houses. We welcome all high school parents and students to come out to the high school's open house, freshman orientation, and back to school night on Monday the 17th. The first day of school for kindergarten through 9th grade is Tuesday the 18th, with 10th and 12th following on Wednesday. Our Linker leaders will be in the high school for the first day of school to help bridge the gap between middle school to high school. They all have fun icebreaker activities set up to help everyone adjust to the new building. This day with Linker leaders will allow freshmen to enjoy the high school all to themselves prior to the rest of the school returning. Within the first week, we will also be holding important safety and conduct meetings, and handbook talks will happen during English classes. Our first day off is just around the corner on September 7th for Labor Day. Homecoming is also much earlier than usual, with the football game against Bermudian Springs scheduled for 7 p.m. on September 18th. Our homecoming queen will be crowned prior to kickoff. The dance is on Saturday the 19th, with more details to come, including themes and Spirit Week. Junior and senior girls will battle it out at the Powerpuff game at 6 p.m. on Wednesday the 16th. Fall sports start on Monday. Everyone's excited to hit the ground running in the new South Central Athletic Conference. Join us for Meet the Team Night, where we introduce students from all fall sports on the football field. Some senior nights are quickly approaching, with sports like cross country having their senior night right after Labor Day. Come out to support our student athletes, and we're excited for another high-ranking year across all sports. We are excited to hear that the marching band's new performance that they have been rehearsing during band camp this week. High school band and orchestra students will be traveling to all 3 elementary schools to demonstrate their instruments and encourage the next generation to learn instruments. This will be happening on Monday the 24th. An instrument rental night will be for the elementary schools will be on September 1st at Shrewsbury Elementary School. Auditions are fast approaching for the fall play under our new director, who is a returning warrior. That is all from our report.
Thank you.
It's a great report. Thank you.
All right. That brings us to item 5, recognitions and presentations. We have one, educational updates by Dr. Reppert.
Hoboken and Top Logan. All right, well, President Hankel, School Board, welcome back to the community. The school year is just around the corner. Today we had the awesome opportunity of welcoming back all of our staff. I believe Dr. Price is going to talk a little bit about that at his closing. But one thing, Logan, welcome, student representative. For those you don't know, I've known Logan from way, way back to when my son and Logan were at Keystone Kids, to having the opportunity to work with you and your robotics team, now having you sit here as a student representative, proud of where you were, where you are, and where you're going to go. So following on my monthly theme of safe, supportive, and collaborative, we welcome back our bus drivers for their annual kickoff last week. It was great to see the excitement and anticipation for the upcoming school year. And I wanted to thank the bus drivers because, as I've said every year, they have the most difficult job within the district, most challenging, getting our students to and from school safely. So let's have an awesome start to the school year. Tomorrow on Friday, our entire district staff will participate in annual safety training on situational awareness and other safety-related topics. Mr. Leitzel, our school safety security coordinator, will facilitate this training, and as well as run professional development throughout the year for our staff based on safety needs. And just to all the parents and community members, just as a reminder, athletics will be starting officially on Monday, so please be aware of our students. They're going to be out and about throughout our campuses, so make sure you drive with caution up and around our schools. Under supportive, always got to say a big thank you to our custodial maintenance staff. Our buildings look phenomenal. I mean, you walk through the hallways to shine on the floors, the classrooms look great, the grounds look great. They take a lot of pride in what they do. So big thanks to all the custodians and the staff for what they have done there. Back to school nights, Logan did just speak to. Elementary is tonight, so all 3 elementary schools are having their back to school night. High schools will be on Monday, and then the middle school will have theirs the following week. One other part about supportive, this past Sunday, our district participated with Southeastern School District at the YMCA for an annual back to school event. We had over 120 students from our district that came to the YMCA, got school supplies, hygiene products, they did haircuts, eye exams. So it's a great event that's put on, so a big thank you to our social services department for putting that on and providing that opportunity for our students. And under the collaborative, a big thank you to all of our teachers. We think that, they started today, this was the first day. They've been in throughout the entire summer. Professional development, getting themselves ready for the start of the school year, a lot of trainings that have occurred. So thank you for your time, because we know that what they have done over the summer has really going to set the stage for the start of the school year. Just a couple other reminders. We will have teacher in-service. We had it today. It'll go through Monday. Logan covered that. Logan covered that. Logan covered that. The district will observe Patriots Day on September 11th, as well as Constitution Day on September 17th. That will be held, within the classrooms, within the schools. And we'll be back here on Tuesday, September 15th for Personnel and Policy Committee, and then followed by our September board meeting on the 17th. I want to wish Mr. Hash an early birthday. So let's make it a great start to the 2026-27 school year.
Or not.
The choice is yours.
Thank you. Brings us to item 6A, public comment. I have one on my list. Just a reminder, when you come up, state your municipality of residence and your name, and Jason Carbaugh.
Good evening. Jason Carball, Glen Rock, Pennsylvania, Cadorus Township. I have one child that has graduated from Susquehannock, and I have twins that are going into 6th grade. We were actually right at back to school night tonight. When our family entered the district for my kindergarten, our daycare told us that we won the lottery by going to Friendship. We were and placed in the district. The first 2 years, we might have agreed with that, largely because the exceptional teachers managed to shield us from the deeper issues within the school. Today, these issues are widespread and severe, and they cannot hide them any longer. We have had one, of course, graduate. Last year, we were called to the principal's office on 4 separate occasions due to escalating issues with other kids. And there were countless numbers of emails, and nothing was done. That's why I'm here today. The situation has deteriorated so badly that we began exploring alternative education for our children. One of our child was slapped in the face. The offender claimed it was a joke. Nothing was done. Another child received a death threat, an explicit death threat, how their friends were going to hold him down and smother him. Nothing was done, aside from being forced, the offending child being forced to say sorry. According to Friendship's own discipline matrix, created under the High Reliability Schools program, this offense requires a 3-day in-school suspension, yet the policy was ignored. These failures are not isolated. They're systematic, and they stem from leadership. The decline of Friendship Elementary has occurred under the leadership of the current principal and current assistant principal. In any professional environment, persistent ineffectiveness results in removal. The same standard must apply. They should either resign or be removed from their positions. Their leadership has been ineffective and have lost respect from a lot of the students. I hate to be the one to bring this to you. I didn't want to be here tonight, but somebody has to say something. Our children deserve a safe, accountable, and functional learning environment. Right now, they do not have one. It is time for meaningful change at the top. With no meaningful support from the administrations, our teachers are being forced to shoulder more and more of the responsibility of discipline. And now class sizes are being pushed above 20 to possibly 30 kids. If discipline cannot effectively be managed with 20 students, how exactly is it supposed to be managed with 30? What learning will be lost because a classroom's consumed by constant disruptions? Last year, one student interrupted the class 111 times in a single day, and yet nothing was done. We were at the office about this 3 different times. Countless numbers of emails. If these issues are not confronted immediately, if real-world consequences and discipline and clear expectations are not established, this pattern will continue to escalate until it mirrors the chaos that I heard about at these meetings in the middle school and the high school. This is not speculation. It's a predictable outcome. It's coming. Gentle parenting and gentle schooling are failing our children. Structure, accountability, and leadership are required. Without them, the only deterrent is further chaos. We need more accountability. We need more discipline. My time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to 6B, board discussion and public comment. I'll begin by just, Dr. Eppert, can you reach out and
We've already
Yeah, we spoke last year.
Yes.
all right, so you're pursuing with Dr. Eppert? All right, well, please let me know what comes of that. Any other? All right, hearing none. Item 7, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
A motion? Have a second?
Second.
Second.
All right. Any discussion of the consent agenda? All in favor say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Brings us to item 8, education. I'll turn it over to our education chair, Mrs. Henkel.
Thank you, President Hinkle. All right. 8.A, update on Chromebook distribution. Dr. Reppert.
Thank you, Mrs. Henkel. For the board and the community, just want to give an update on the Chromebook distribution first. Chromebook distribution will start the week of August 24th. Just for parents, as a reminder, please be sure to log into Sapphire and complete the required forms, which include the emergency contact information, the Chromebook use form, student handbook, as well as the COPA form for students that are the ages of 12 and under. Once those are completed by parents in Sapphire, each of our schools already have a plan for that distribution the week of the 24th. If those are not completed, students would not receive the Chromebook when they start distributing them on the week of the 24th. And the second one regarding screen time usage update for the board directors on the, we'll call it violet paper. We have a comparison of the screen time usage from the 2024-2025 school year. As we would have expected in grades, 1, 2, 3, 4, there has been a decrease of the minutes per day based on the reduction down to a 2-to-1. There's also a reduction of the use of the Chromebooks when you're looking at the averages in grades 5 and 6 from the previous year. You will see in grades 7 and 8, the numbers are, I'm going to say, around 135 to 140. I do know that the administration is going to be looking at and working with the staff regarding the utilization of the Chromebooks and screen time at the middle school to be able to reduce that use of the time. And then our high school, 9 through 12, we know that our students are on the learning management system of Canvas, so that's really where we would expect those students that are doing more of those classes that are online and utilizing the screens at those times and their computers. Any questions with that?
Just looking at the data, 4th grade, that's phenomenal.
Went from 81 to 55.
Yeah. And, numbers are looking good. It's interesting that with high school, it's about the same, but it's largely a minute decrease too, and obviously we didn't change anything with high school, but it's impressive. Thank you, Dr. Reppert. Anybody else have any other questions? All righty, that takes us to 8B, Stage 1 curriculum maps. Dr. Reppert.
Thank you, Ms. Henkel. Just for the school board's information, or just you're aware, we do have the curriculum maps for the Building a Warrior 9 through 12. You had approved K through 8 in June. We had these finalized, reviewed, so they're for your approval.
I move to approve the Stage 1 curriculum maps as district-wide master maps, Building a Warrior, grades 9 through 12. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions?
Aye.
That motion carries. 8.c, novel adoption. I move to approve The Tale of Despero by Kate DiCamello, 2003, Candlewick Press, for grades 4 through 5. May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or concerns with this one? I thought that I could get away with the knowledge that I had when I read this book to my children, and I remembered it pretty well, but I had some questions that I knew I had to go back and read it again to have a fresh mind, and I just absolutely adore this book. So that's just my input. Anybody else?
I was told it was a good one.
It really is.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 8D, update from Dr. Reppert, Assistant Superintendent, on the District Technology Committee, which you will have recognized as formerly being the AI Committee. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Henkel. So for the AI committee, we do have 2 apps that have been approved through our process. One is entitled Factile. It's similar to a Jeopardy-style quiz for our students to utilize in school. And Proctorio, which is primarily used for Messiah College for our students that are in dual enrollment. They need that platform in order to take the assessments when they're taking those classes. We do have a meeting. The date has not yet been set, but it will be in September for the first meeting for the AI committee. So invitations for those members that are part of that will be coming out very shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Wilson, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so. A quick question, the Factile, what grades is that going to be used in?
I believe that's going to be utilized in the middle school. I will have to double check that. I'll pull that up on the website, but I believe it was for the middle school that they will be utilizing Factile.
Thank you.
Oh, Dr. Hughes said, yes, Dr. Reppert, it's middle school.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Hughes and Dr. Ripper.
All right, brings us to 8E and 8F, which are both, they are linked together. 8E is a contract with Pearson Education. 8F is data sharing agreement with the same. Dr. Reppert, 8E?
Yes, for 8E for the board, our special education department has been utilizing AimsWeb for not only benchmarking, but for progress monitoring of students. Last year, we brought forth 350 licenses now at $7.75. I do want to let you know this is legacy pricing. Dr. Rogers has been able to lock that in. It could have been more than $9 a student per seat, but we were able to lock in the $7.75 to utilize that for this upcoming school year.
Awesome. I move to approve the renewal of a contract with Pearson Education for the use of AimsWeb Plus, a reading and math progress monitoring tool at a cost of $7.75 per student for 350 students' licenses at a total cost of $2,712.50. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Any questions for Dr. Reppert? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions?
Aye.
That motion carries. And 8F is a data sharing agreement. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, for the board's knowledge, this data sharing agreement, it provides us the ability to upload the data of AimsWeb in with Pearson, who also takes care of and stores our data for the PSSAs and Keystones. It will allow our special education teachers as well as director to really take a look at the historical data for the last 3 years, but moving forward, what growth our students are making based on the benchmark assessments, as well as being able to compare to, the projections of where they believe the students will be when they're taking the PSSAs in grades 3 through 8, as well as the Keystones for English Lit, Algebra, and Biology.
Is that included in the $7.75 per student? The ability to look past and look? Yes? Okay.
All right. I move to approve the data sharing agreement with NCS Pearson Incorporated for the statewide aggregation and reporting of AimsWeb Plus assessment data. May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions?
I
have a question. Does it replace something that we are not using anymore, or it's in addition to?
Well, Ames, what we have been utilizing.
Oh, okay.
That had been approved in previous years. The data sharing agreement is something new that allows us to integrate that data with our other data that's reported to the state, like I mentioned, the PSSAs and the
Right.
Keystones, the classroom diagnostic tests, the CDTs, if you've
Okay.
heard that.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? 8G is a contract with Image Learning. Dr. Reppert.
This is a contract for Image Learning to allow us to go into contract for speech and language services. For the board's knowledge, last year you approved one for All Stills to provide that virtual speech and language. Unfortunately, All Stills did not have the staff to support our needs. Therefore, Dr. Rogers did some research, was able to find Imagine Learning in order for us to meet the needs of the students that have the speech and language services.
And, sorry, I misspoke. It's Imagine Learning. Thank you, Dr. Reppert. Move to approve a contract with Imagine Learning for leave coverage for speech and language services for 6 hours per day, not to exceed a cost of $42,000 for virtual speech and language services for the 2026-2027 school year from August 17th, 2026 through November 25th, 2026. May I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah. Dr. Rogers, is that comparable to last year's pricing? Can you speak to that?
Yes, I can. It is slightly higher than what Austills had asked us or provided for us a little bit, because the hourly rate was something that was a little bit higher than what Austills has provided for us. I was able to negotiate a more reasonable rate than what they had originally requested for us. Looked back at and went back to some of our staff as well too, because the original quote they had for us was actually 8 hours per day. But in looking at it for when we had student availability and stuff, we were able to renegotiate that quote for the 6 hours at $42,000. So we were able to reduce the actual original cost that they had quoted at us as over $10,000 reduction because of that.
Are we using the 6 hours per day, or how close are we to that?
Yes, we will. This will be for a full caseload of students. We're looking to maximize that up to 65 students altogether.
Okay, and how many staff does that allow us?
That they will have one essentially full-time staff that would be dedicated to us for those services.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Good questions. Anybody else?
I try.
Alrighty, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Alrighty, that brings us to 8H, which is an agreement with Marzano. Dr. Reppert?
Thank you, Ms. Henkel. As the board knows, all of our buildings are certified in Level 1 Safe, Supportive, and Collaborative. All of our buildings are certified in Level 2 Effective Instruction in every classroom. So this is the next tier, Level 3 of, why am I drawing a blank? Guaranteed curriculum, guaranteed viable curriculum. The cost is $10,000, but I do want to note that our district was able to receive a Highmark grant of $4,500. A big thank you to Dr. Hughes for authoring that. So when we're looking at the amount that comes out of the district funds would be $5,500 that we can start that process, the professional development, and work towards certification throughout the school year.
I have a couple of questions, just for the comfort of the board. When it comes to this agreement, what are we getting for this? What is it that we're looking for, and why is it something that you feel professionally is better to go through a licensure process and not just do something on our own?
Dr. Hughes, you want to speak to that?
Sure. So through the certification process, it's professional development in the whole process itself. So we have a trainer that sits down with our teams and goes through about a 2.5 hour time period where they go through each one of the leading indicators and all of the artifacts. And they actually go through and ask questions and make sure that the district is thinking about different ideas and different concepts. We don't always get the green light to go ahead right away to go for certification without going through and revising and doing some other pieces. So they look from a holistic standpoint, where they really look at, having done this with many, many districts, not only across the nation, but across the world. They're pulling in and they're giving that expertise to us, and really sitting down with our teams. Each school goes through that intensive vetting process, and they really do look at what we've done, and then they question, like, okay, so what's the next step? And they keep us moving forward.
So the third tier has to do with curriculum. Where do they get the basis for what our curriculum should be? Is that something that we decide and then they help us do it, or do they give to us what they think it should be?
So while it's called Guaranteed Viable Curriculum, there's a lot of additional pieces in there that look at how do we assess students that are in the classroom to make sure that all students are learning? How are we going through and making sure that our students are covering all of the standards and that our teachers understand those standards? So there's a lot of layers. There's 6 different leading indicators that go with level 3 that really help us focus in. So it's not just about the final product. It's really about how do we get to that final product, and how do we make sure that every student is accessing the same information. It looks at schedules, it looks at time allocations. So one of the things that they talk about is viable. You can't have a curriculum that can't be taught in the amount of time that we have for it to be effective if it takes too long or too short. It's really looking at all of those pieces that we've been talking about as a board and as a district, of making sure that what we're doing in our classrooms is very effective. That's one of the reasons why 2 and 3 go so hand in hand with one another, because 2 is really the instruction in the classroom. 3 is all about, are we instructing the right things, and are we truly getting information and finding out whether our students are getting it or not?
So would you say that we still set the standard and the direction for what we want, and they're just more of the pragmatic approach of how to get those things?
Absolutely. So we are very standards-based, and they give us professional development on actually how to unpack some of those standards, but it's our standards and what we decide. So we create the classes, we create the information. They're vetting it from a high level, the 10,000 feet, of being able to say, like, we're looking at this, have you done these pieces to help, and they work with so many different entities that they're able to kind of give us suggestions and feedback. We have the high school with us right now who went through the process, and it really does make you sit and think, and we have ongoing conversations with them to say, okay, here's the next piece of what we're working on.
That's awesome. Because we're getting, and last question, thank you so much. Because we're getting into the routine now of examining and coming up with our comprehensive plan, this seems like the ideal time, at least in my mind, to also have this happening. Will we be able to do the 2 together in order to get the best tools and the best conversations going so that we don't lose a
Absolutely.
cycle? Okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that as we continue to move forward with our comprehensive planning, really looking at, there is a very logical pathway that they're leading in. Really, one of the next stages of this is really looking at how are we assessing and how are we looking at whether students, how they're understanding the information that we are telling them. So are they getting it from an aspect of they're understanding these skills but not these? So it really looks at proficiency scales are what they're called, and that's something that the high school actually has started to look into, because all of this, as we look, it all builds upon one another. You can't have anything without having a safe and secure environment. And then effective, excellent teachers in the classroom. And then a really good curriculum that has all of the components. And now we're continuing the work into how are we then evaluating whether students are truly getting this information or not.
Does anybody else have any questions for Dr. Hughes while she's there? Thank you so much, Dr. Hughes. I move to approve an agreement between Marzano Resources and Southern York County School District for certification and professional development in high reliability schools, Level 3, at a total cost of $10,000 to be funded using a combination of Highmark grant funding and district funds. May I have a second?
Second.
Alrighty, any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That brings us to 8I. Dr. Reppert.
Yes, for the board, for Character Strong, this is a intervention resource that we're going to be utilizing for our students and social skills currently that would be utilized at the high school for our Tier 2 and Tier 3. You look at your Tier 2 are your students that, need some assistance with the social skills. More specifically, the students that are receiving this instruction have that in their IEPs at this point, that they need that specific instruction. So as opposed to having our staff create the program, Dr. Rogers and staff had done some real vetted research and found that this one was the best program that would provide those students the necessary skills to work through their specific goals related to social skills.
Fantastic. I move to approve Character Strong's Tier 2 and Tier 3 instructional tools, personalized intervention mapping, and integrated progress monitoring system for use within our high school special education programs. May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions for Dr. Reppert?
I got two.
Go for it.
Actually, I think it's for you, Dr. Rogers. Can you tell me before this, what were we doing?
Yeah, so we were using multiple different resources within that. One of the things that we really liked about this particular tool is that it has structured lessons and then with some guidance and follow-up for each one of the particular lessons. It also has a built-in progress monitoring tool that we can utilize as well too for the generalization of those skills. We also had, and we still do, the board has approved from before, another program that we had called Social Express, but we were finding when we were implementing that, or attempting to implement that at the secondary level for our students, that it was not as age appropriate, and so they were not connecting with that particular program that we were utilizing as well too. So we wanted to use something that was a little bit more succinct than our multiple different resources, something that had a good scope and sequence, if you will, of skills, and also something that we could have a progress monitoring tool for as well too.
What was the cost of the other tools that you were using?
So those were more things that we already had on hand, if you will. Some of them were older pieces. We were also utilizing some things that the students had already seen in different levels from before, so they weren't buying into it as much as they had, say, when we introduced that in the elementary and middle school levels as well too. One of those, for examples, we use a program called Zones of Regulation, which is something that our guidance also utilizes as well too for some of their Tier 2 interventions, but more so at the elementary level. Again, the students had already been kind of familiar with that, and so they weren't buying into that as much. So we wanted to also have a curriculum that was a little bit more age appropriate for our students as well too.
Is this more personable? No, it's not.
Individualized?
Yes.
Yeah, it can be, yes, depending upon, especially our Tier 3. There is some individualization that's in with it as well too. One of the vetting things that Dr. Sterner did within all this and the feedback that we had for those that were providing it from before is they needed something a little bit more structured than what we were looking for. So that's why we started that process last year with the feedback that we had from our social workers and counselors and some of our teachers that were implementing some of the social skills, that they wanted something that was a little bit more structured and succinct and had that scope and sequence, if you will.
So this is more, or it's less of cobbling together other things, more into one succinct program.
Yes, yeah,
It's more
absolutely.
individualized for.
Yeah, yes, I would agree with that.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Does anybody have any
Good.
other questions? Alrighty, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. That brings me to 8J, other items of business. I do have one. I just wanted to highlight, I couldn't get my words together earlier during public comments, but going through this Marzano Tier 3 phase, it's only curriculum, is only as good as the environment that the curriculum is being taught in, and having safe, supportive, collaborative schools. That's why that's the first 2 tiers. And I want to tell the Carbos that I will follow up, and that I think you've seen the board in the past, we're getting disciplinary numbers and quarterly that Dr. Reppert has been working on. And, you know, there is that tension when it comes to class size and class behavior. I myself have seen in my own personal life a classroom of 4 be completely disrupted by one student. I'm a homeschool co-op teacher. I had the ability to kick said student out, and it was amazing how the co-op could continue without them. I don't think it's necessarily class size, though that can be if you get more disruptive students in it, but I do think that we have to have a real conversation about what to do with the disruptions, because it's not fair to teachers, and it's not fair to fellow students who are being robbed of a proper education. So I don't have ideas. I don't really know, and I don't know what legally is allowed to happen too, because there are definitely concerns. So, but I just wanted to say that we'll follow up, we'll collaborate. Thank you. And that's all I have.
I forgot to move item 10 up. Do I want to do that now or just get to it?
Let's just
Okay, all right, okay. All right, that brings us to item 9, our finance and budget report. As our treasurer is out today, I'll turn it over to Trevor Carrington, our CFO.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. So agenda item 9A are the financial reports. So the board was provided the treasurer's report, tax collection report, and budget status report. All of June, July, and August will be provided at the September meeting. The delay was just due to the week early board meeting. So just to highlight a few items on the treasurer's report, we began the month of June with a balance in our concentration account of $1,065,516.23. We had deposits of $7,609,823.33, and then disbursements of $6,631,932.86, bringing the balance at the end of the month to $2,043,406.70. The balance of our tax collection accounts was $25,070.04. We had investments beginning the month of $31,219,906.28. And then after interest, purchases, deposits, maturities, redemptions, the balance at the end of the month was $28,712,703.12. So the summary of all of the investments is provided in the treasurer's report. No action is needed on those items. They're for information only. So item 9B, the bills for payment, they were provided to the board in advance. So I would like to entertain a motion to approve the bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
All right, are there any questions, comments, or discussion? So all those in favor say aye.
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 And then any nays or abstentions?
That motion carries.
Yes, motion carries. All right, so 9C is me anyway. I get to provide an update on the state budget. So I'm excited about this one. So this is my first state budget update. I've been able to give them in the past, but this one is exciting because I'm giving it in August.
Yeah.
So last year, it was our finance and budget meeting in November when I was able to say, along with Mrs. Green, that we had a state budget. So surprise, we have one. It is August. It was passed about a month ago. So July, it was passed. That is probably the most excited I'll be about a budget. So the rest is kind of meh news, just to be very clear with where we are. So just some big items that will be included in the budget I'll highlight. There were increases to basic ed and special ed funding. There was a third year of adequacy funding. There was the renewal of the PCCD Safety and Security Grant, or Mental Health and Safety Grant. There was additional money put in the Public Facility Improvement Grants. And then there was a revision to the Solar for Schools program. So some specifics from there. Well, yes, money was put in those 3 programs, basic ed, special ed, and adequacy. What that really looked like for us was an increase of $250,000 over what we budgeted. That's not great. So we used to see a lot larger, $250,000 a few years ago was what we saw in an increase in basic ed funding alone. So we're starting off this budget year in a not so great point, just seeing that state funding is really going to be one of those items that we hope to get some surprise money. We didn't really get any surprise money. I'm not upset about it. We got something. So in more details, it's about $540,000 more than what we received last year. So the 250 is budget to budget, or actual to what we budgeted. $540,000 more. But the sad part, $520,000 of that was our adequacy funding. So 520 is in one bucket, which we always and have talked about. We're nervous that that's not always guaranteed. But really the $20,000 was in basic ed and special ed funding. So we did not see a huge increase. The safety grant, no material changes there. So I don't know the dollar amount yet. We get about $150,000. We're assuming it will be somewhere around that same amount. They funded it level. So one is to assume it's not going to change wildly. Another item was the public facility improvement grant. So what the state did was add more money to the program. They reopened it for a 10-day window. So people that had not applied could apply. We had already applied with the help of SiteLogic in March. So our application is there and sitting there. Hopefully, because they put more money, we might get more. We have not heard yet. The only risky part is they open the program again. So more people had time to get in applications and apply. We would love to get that. So we'll let you guys know. Hopefully we hear some good news soon. Last one, Solar for Schools. So we have not really talked through Solar for Schools too much in the past. Just to give a quick highlight, in the past that was a 50% match. The state would kick in 50%. They upped it to 75%. So there's more money on the table should it be a path a district is going down. We are working with SiteLogic to understand what that could mean for our district and the feasibility. It's something worth noting. We looked at that years ago when we did our friendship project. We looked at that a handful of years ago just to see the viability, whether or not the return on investment actually makes sense. With this program, it's great. 50% was good. It's better than nothing. 75% is even better than 50%. But the big thing we would need to be mindful of when looking at the feasibility is, okay, if they're going to pay for most of it when we install it, what happens when it needs to be replaced? Is there going to be funding there? There's a lot of factors. I mean, I've presented kind of ad nauseum last year about the cost of electricity. So this could be really beneficial should it make sense for us, but it's a path we will look into the feasibility of and whether or not it makes sense. Just mentioning it now. So should we see that in some budget updates, it's not the first time you're hearing it. There were other school code updates. I touched on the exciting part with the budget. Dr. Reppert, Dr. Bryson, and other administrators will get to handle all the school code things. But the fun part, budget-wise, we at least have one, so huge plus. Any questions?
Didn't we hear the presentation about the school solar from the student? And the numbers that she had were impressive. So I think feasibility, viability, maybe direction that SiteLogic can help us definitely look at for that as we plan projects in the future.
All right, no questions. I will continue and move on to agenda item 9D, which are letters from the district's auditors, Smith, Elliott, Kearns and Company. So really just to explain, those are letters that we get every year for the purposes of our audit. It's just for information purposes, I believe. Yep.
Trevor, could jump in?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a financial piece so much as it ties into
Dr. Hughes and her high reliability schools explanation on why certification. Really, I take high reliability schools certification process as a academic audit of how your buildings are functioning, from safe, supportive, collaborative, all the way up to curriculum and how reliable and viable it is over the long term. So I wanted to jump in there because I think that might be the best third-party observation and feedback that you can get would be similar to an audit in the financial world.
So this is just for information only, but I'll read it. The Board of Education to receive 2 letters from the district's auditor, Smith Elliott Kearns and Company LLC, which include the annual engagement letter relating to the upcoming audit for the 25-26 fiscal year, and then required correspondence under government auditing standards relating to the upcoming audit. So again, no actions required. That is just for information. Item 9E relates to a resolution acknowledging the project scope and working components regarding the York Learning Center funding model. I will briefly turn it over to Dr. Bryson if you'd like to provide any highlights.
All I would say, I think at this point, we've kind of talked this through month after month for a while now. The next the Joint Operating Authority is waiting for the result of these resolutions throughout the county so that hopefully they can move forward with planning in September. And so this is a resolution, and I'll turn it over hopefully to President Henkel, that the board is acknowledging the scope of I don't want to say scope, I want to say that they are moving forward the project under this funding structure and that they're looking for the support of the neighboring districts. That's the gist of the resolution.
Is it positive support from other districts?
So far, it's been very positive. Don't have a prediction, but I think the large majority are on board. The biggest challenge with a project like this with 13 districts involved is trying to get 13 school boards on a similar page is a challenge. And what funding model might benefit one does not necessarily benefit the other, so there's a give and take process. So I don't necessarily think there'll be 100% agreement, but I think we will get the support of the large majority, which allows them to move forward with it. Ultimately, the JOA, which Lisa is a member on that board, has the authority to make the decision. I think their goal is just to make it transparent so that they're not just moving forward with districts not knowing what's happening at the JOA in support of the York Learning Center project.
Did the visitations help with just sending through the urgent necessity of this program?
Absolutely. Those that I think were kind of on the table, were teeter-tottering. The leadership that came from the different districts, I think, were really shocked at where the condition that building is in. And we also did the tours during the school day when the students were actually there, and they got to see the needs of the students, which are significant, and that's why they're there, and being supported in that environment. I think that was also a big eye-opener. They're not just topics on a board agenda. These are little humans that need a lot of help.
Yes.
And this is the funding model that's a base price and then it's per student.
Yep, so it would be a base price, roughly, it's, the base price right now is $100,000, and then it's a per student charge, that's basically a facility fee charge per student that you have placed there.
Which is better for a district like ours than the prior funding model that was kind of more flat.
The starting funding model was a flat price, same for all 13 districts, regardless if you might have 4 students going versus 15 students going.
And that benefited some other districts a lot.
Yeah.
I think if the JOA considers going back to that funding model,
then it would be my recommendation that we reconsider whether our involvement is a reality moving forward. And we would not be the only district, in my estimation, that would be in that boat. So I think the model, with my experience and conversations, is as close as we're going to get to having 100% support.
Well, it's certainly more equitable and, you know, the schools that have higher needs are paying higher cost.
Yeah, and there's the fact that we could withdraw actually creates an incentive for those schools to go ahead and go with this, because if we withdraw, then they absorb even more of the cost of those sort of flat costs. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution acknowledging the project scope and working components regarding the York Learning Center funding model as previously discussed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Brings us to item 9F. I'll just keep going for now. I'll turn it over to you if we need to. But I'll make a motion to approve an agreement with Beacon Bid for access to their solicitation tools at no cost to the district. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Trevor, do you have any comments on this one?
Nothing major. It's just something that we can add to our website to help get the word out when we have RFPs, bids, quotes, things like that.
Right. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Next item, 9G, we have I'll make a motion to approve an agreement with Walmart Business and TrevaPay for access to the pay by invoice program at no cost to the district and no actual relationship to Trevor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Are we sure it's no relation?
No, this is a great
Can't find
program.
any, but you know, it's one of those things that's
Right, super
no way to
appreciative.
absolutely prove it.
I'm watching you, Joe.
But super appreciative for all the work that Mr. Carrington did to bring this about. This
Yes.
wasn't easy, and it took a lot of time.
Is that why
and
it's called TrevaPay?
Such
Yeah.
a great
They named
benefit to all of our students, so thank you so much.
And it's definitely not because we use it at Hopkins, so it's not.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Next, 9H, I'll make a motion to approve an agreement with Parent Square for access to their invoicing tools through Stripe at no cost to the district. Any questions or discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions?
We need a second.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Second.
Oh, I didn't do a second, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Now, all in favor say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Thank you. All right, 9I, other items of business, I have none. Anyone else? All right, that
One
brings us.
question, please.
Yeah, mhm.
It is related to Parent Square and invoicing. So in our board brief, there was some information that the cafeteria funding would be able to possibly go through that in the future. Where are we on that, and is it even possible, or did I read that incorrectly?
Currently, no. It's not functionality they have. So our cafeteria software is through Mosaic, and their parent-facing version of that is called My School Bucks. It's what we have used for invoicing.
Yeah.
Parent Square does not have a POS system that we can use for the cafeteria program. So the reason we use My School Bucks for parent payments for cafeteria items is because it works with the back end, what our cafeteria workers are using. They love Mosaic. It works very well in our cafeterias. It's one of the other districts really like that one. So we don't want to get away from Mosaic quite yet. Should Parent Square tech companies consolidate constantly. So should that be something that happens, we'll look into it. But the pro for keeping Mosaic would absolutely outweigh the ease of that for now.
Sure. Makes total sense. It's just nice to think about one-stop shop.
Someday.
for parents when we all have, you know, our own password and log in for this and that and the other thing. It's nice to keep up with just one. But thank you.
All right, that brings us to item 10, which is our committee report for personnel and policy. I'll turn it over to Mrs. Hall.
Thank you, President Engel. Very excited for item 10.A, the authorization for the superintendent. I make a motion to authorize the superintendent, Dr. Robert Bryson, in consultation with the board president and chair of personnel and policy, to provisionally hire the athletic director prior to the September 17th, 2026 school board meeting. Any such hiring of this administrator shall be subject to a ratifying vote of approval by the school board at the next scheduled meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries.
So I'm going to speak to this one because this one's a little bit different than maybe what we've done in the past. So historically, the board might make a motion for the superintendent to approve an administrator over the summer when the school board's not meeting. In this situation, we went through the interview process, which was extensive, and at the end of that had and have a finalist prepared to be recommended to the board for hiring. However, due to board policy, we also have to have all of the background paperwork, including security checks, background checks, et cetera. And if that's not completed within 48/24 hours before the board meeting, then we put on a motion for me to approve that beyond that timeline. So the interesting thing is we now have those documents that are needed for official approval, but we were beyond that timeline to change the motion on the board this evening. So with all that being said, Jen is here this evening, so if Jen, you could come up to the podium, I'd be much appreciated. Jen Goslin is the interview committee's official finalist and recommendation to me and the board for approval as Southern York County School District's next athletic director. And since we'd really love Jen to start tomorrow, we didn't really want to introduce her tomorrow when this happened at the board meeting tonight. So I invited Jen to come this evening, appreciate the board's support in us selecting the right candidate for Southern York County School District. And I assure you, it was a unanimous decision with quite a large group of individuals as a part of that interview process. So we welcome you aboard, Jen. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much to the board for approving my appointment as athletic director. I'm really looking forward to serving the student athletes, the coaches, families, the school community in my role. Athletics has been a big part of my life, but it's not about wins and losses, although I'm not going to lie, winning is important. But I always say that success is measured by like the growth of our student athletes and the culture that we create. So my goal is to build an athletic program that provides our students the opportunity to grow, to compete, just to have a positive experience overall. So I'm committed to creating a positive culture that centers on our students. So thanks again for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Congratulations.
Okay. Item 10B, Memorandum of Understanding with the Southern York Education Association and the Southern York Educational Support Personnel Association concerning a long-term substitute position. I make a motion to approve a memorandum of understanding with the Southern York Education Association and the Southern York Educational Support Personnel Association concerning a long-term substitute position. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? All right, hearing none, that motion carries. Item 10.C is for your information. Every board member should have the yellow, I don't know, do you call it canary? Is that what the term
good.
is?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, with all of our board policies that will be up for review in this fall cycle. And we will, as Dr. Ruppert said, have our meeting, our personnel and policy meeting on September 15th. Item 10D, second reading and approval of the board policies. I make a motion to approve the following new or updated policies. Policy 815, acceptable use of the internet, computers, and network resources, and Policy 824, maintaining professional adult-student boundaries. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. And item 10E, appointments. I make a motion to approve the following appointments effective immediately. Trevor Carrington as the Open Records Officer, Misty Danner as Assistant Open Records Officer, Misty Danner as York Adams Tax Bureau Representative and York County Tax Collection Committee Representative, and Trevor Carrington as the alternate. Misty Danner as Joint Purchasing Board Representative and Trevor Carrington as alternate. Misty Danner as an alternate Lincoln Benefit Trust representative, and Frank Posner to serve as the Lincoln Benefit Trust trustee, replacing Jonathan Lewis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. And item 10F, other items of business, I have none, so I return it back to President Hinkle.
All right, thank you. Brings us to item 11, Buildings and Grounds. I'll turn it over to Mr. Hall.
Thank you, President Hinkle. 11A, we have the Buildings and Grounds report and the Water Test report and use of facilities. Mr. Buffington.
Yeah, so the Buildings and Grounds report, just highlight a couple critical projects there. You'll note the middle school grease traps that were replaced, and the main campus well pump. Certainly not glamorous, but very important to what we do, keep school functioning. Also would note the banners that were hung by the maintenance department, the athletic banners in the main gym, as well as the start of the batting cage for the JV softball and baseball teams. As well as there's an athletic report of noting the field conditions and things, which are in good shape, and certainly we're always focused on how we improve those and keep them in good shape. And the water test reports, you can see, are favorable for both months.
Thank you. Moving on to 11B, information about the ongoing GIZA projects and design of projects at Shrewsbury Elementary.
All right, so if we can pull that up, Greg. So with me tonight, I have representatives that are no strangers from SiteLogic. Kind of give a quick report, just wanted to kind of keep it in front of the board with that. But good news, we have some details both from the construction end and also from the facilities end to get done before school starts. But we will be in session. We will have all our schools operating, so just to let everybody know that. But tonight's agenda, we'll quickly go through kind of a recap of the projects and things, as well as where we're headed. So as I had said, it was a busy summer. The projects are substantially complete, but there are some more things to do with that. Much like we did last summer, the roof at Shrewsbury will actually move to second shift on Tuesday. They will start working second shift around 4 p.m. and work, and also on the weekends until they complete that. Certainly, if you think back to this summer, we had some pockets of different rain and things, and certainly it's challenged for that type of work to get completed. Also, some of the items, the board will recall, we're replacing equipment and systems that are near end of life, critical to keep a building in operation. So those included the boilers at Shrewsbury Elementary, Southern Elementary, Southern Middle, as well as the roof replacement at Shrewsbury L, and the rooftop equipment at Shrewsbury. So at Shrewsbury Elementary, it had, a significant amount of the work, as well as we had some water heaters at Shrewsbury L and Southern Middle, and then chilled water pumps for HVAC at all three buildings. So we'll wrap those projects up over the next couple of weeks. The slide that's here in front of you, we've seen this before. Those items were approved, except the line there about the security project number 3. And that's on the agenda. There's an agenda item following this that I'll ask for your approval there for design of that project. So we're looking at the summer of '27. The design is they're working on the design. Part of that becomes designing those systems, as well as doing testing, as well as looking at alternatives for us to consider. In September, SiteLogic will bring back proposed costs for these items for consideration in October. So we'll look at, scopes and cost in September, and then look to come back in October for your consideration. So there, in this slide, we list the current direction of the design and scopes. But I would point out here some additional considerations. During this summer's project, particularly at Shrewsbury Elementary, we uncovered some issues with the rain leader piping, the storm piping within the building, and then also at the canopy. So we have it functioning, as good as it had been functioning, or probably actually better than it had been. But we're going to come back with alternatives or proposals on how to improve those conditions, and our recommendation would be to include that in the summer of '27 project. And we'll give some more detail on that as well. So here you can see, as we continue, and certainly our goal is to keep us on track to do another project in the summer of '27. What we have seen with our first GISA project is the process works really well. It allows the owner, the school district, to work with the contractor directly and continue to look at details and make decisions in the best interest of the school district. And good news, we're on budget. We're substantially complete on time. So it does appear that we will recommend doing this process, or continue doing this process over the next few years. Any questions?
One question. I could see over the summer the sewer line project being worked on between here and Glen Rock. And I did notice that the scope of the project was different, that it was only part of the piping that was being replaced. Is there any savings that was found in that project being a smaller portion, or did I miss something?
Yeah, the scope that was performed is the scope that, so the scope for that project was to replace the sewer piping, I'll say down in the valley, after because that had bellies in it. So that piping needed to be replaced. But down the hill from the campus, that piping was in a condition where lining the piping, so inserting basically a
Okay.
liner in there.
Yep.
And then also at the manholes, doing a lining there. So the scope did not change there. We will report back, there is a little credit for a change in the lining of the manholes, but not significant. I think,
Okay.
without the number in front of me, 5,000 or something like that. But, yeah, but the general scope of the project didn't change.
Okay. Every little bit counts. Thank you.
Yeah, no, great question, and you know, the other thing with this, with our sewer line, you know, we'll certainly, you know, want to inspect it and clean it, you know, probably every 5 years or so, but the work that was done here certainly can be expected to last for decades, you know, so this is something that, you know, will serve us, or should serve us well.
Thank you.
Yep.
And it's certainly a large step up from terracotta to
Yes.
TR-35. That's
Yeah, anybody familiar with terracotta piping, one little hit with a hammer and it's broken, you know, so,
for sure.
yeah.
So I am interested in that, in the work that we were doing on the boilers throughout the summer, if we had any information on the condition of the piping.
Yeah,
That was something we wanted to focus on.
yeah, they're working on that. We don't have the final answer on that, but they have done some testing. Not ready to deem it great, you know, but the contractors noted that it appeared to be in pretty good condition. But we're in the process of testing throughout the building,
Okay.
you know, where they weren't. But yes, we will be coming back in September with those results, as well as results from switchgear, and we'll talk some more about generator options and things, and have numbers with that.
Okay, very good.
Will the boilers be ready for start of school?
What's that?
Will the boilers be ready for the start of school?
Yeah, they're planned to be, you know, certainly for the first day of school, you wouldn't need the boilers other than dehumidification. So we do need a boiler for dehumidification, but they are doing final connections on the one over at Shrewsbury. So we anticipate that, yes, we'll be ready. And we'll have kids in school.
One of our neighboring districts was not so lucky. So I just want to thank both you guys, because it seems like each year there's another district scrambling and moving kids out of the existing building to other buildings. And I think we quickly brush over, yep, we're ready. But the alternative to that is monstrous, huge. Moving kids out of the building into other buildings and into even private buildings. So thank you both. And I don't know if anybody had an opportunity to be over at Shrewsbury over the summer, but at times you could barely pull in. That's how much material we're talking about, and it was both front of the building and back of the building because of the boiler room and roofing project. So a whole lot going on, and I personally enjoyed stopping at the stop signs, the temporary stop signs to and fro, because it gave me an opportunity to see the daily progress of the project. And once it started, it went. So again, thank you.
Well, that really, to deal with, you know, the weather is always, you don't know. It's can be very unforgiving, so it is definitely commendable to get that done. Because, you know, we didn't have a long dry spell this summer, we really didn't.
And I think one of the best things is you saw the progress, you understood what was happening, and we never stood up here and said, well, let me present the change orders. Because we weren't. There were things that happened over the summer. There was some broken glass found in skylights. There were some things that we got some economies on, so we did some extra work. So we're ahead of where we started, and it worked out really well. The administration was a great partner. to SiteLogic and the contractors. I'd rather stand here and say the roof was finished, but as Mr. Hall said, the weather is what the weather is. And I like standing here and saying, we're gonna go to second shift, we're going to get that finished, you don't have to worry about money, we just need to worry about protecting the operation of the school and letting the school function properly and being at night. So we'll be out of the way shortly, and we're working on everything that we talked about moving ahead. I think it's been a great partnership, and I appreciate the board and the administration for allowing it to happen.
Well, we certainly appreciate what you guys bring to the table. It is substantial.
One other thing too, that I think we learned something, being flexible and working with outside organizations and trying to figure out how to get school open and do so at a point where the buildings are safe, supportive, collaborative in nature. And one of your head custodians, I won't say who it was, I said hello to him in the hallway. He's like, I got to tell you, he said, we were nervous about combining all of our custodial groups and going building by building this summer versus them all working in their individual buildings. And, what do you really gain from that? But we did it knowing Shrewsbury's going to have a short window. And he stopped me to follow up just to say, it went really well. And we're talking about maybe we need to do this every summer, regardless of whether there's work or whatnot. And Randy, I know that's kudos to you and your team, because anytime you do something new, you've got to convince them this is worth trying and then get 110% out of it. And the feedback was very positive. So again, thank you.
No, our custodians are just wonderful, and yeah, they're great.
That's great. Thank you so much. And I surely don't miss those change orders, so that's awesome.
I don't miss them either.
Awesome.
I never want to have those discussions.
Absolutely. If I could for 1 second, we did the security walkthrough a week ago, and literally a week ago today, Randy and I saw something as we were exiting Shrewsbury that wasn't even remotely associated with the scope of this work. Wasn't even in the general thing. We just happened to see it. Today, 1 week later, he already had a plan to do it. He already has a contractor do it, and it'll be done within...
It's done.
It's already done. And it was something I thought was actually going to take a little bit. So, well done.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, we definitely look forward to the information you're going to bring us next meeting. Thank you. Okay, moving on to 11C. I have a motion to approve SiteLogic IQ to design and develop Giza pricing for security project number 3, not to exceed $6,300. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, this is something that we have discussed in the past.
Yep.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any abstentions? None, motion passes. Moving on to 11D. We have a discussion on the district-owned land in Shrewsbury Township.
Turn that over to Mr. Carrington.
Yeah, so really, this is just open for the board members to discuss to their discretion. So just, we are the owners of a farm in New Freedom / Shrewsbury Township, so the wonky geography here, New Freedom address, but actually Shrewsbury Township, about 200 acres. So prior board meetings, we had talked about it just to inform, so this is just an open opportunity for any board member to discuss thoughts on moving forward or what we would like to do with said land.
Didn't we discuss it last month or in June, and it was decided that because it cannot be developed, that we would just sell it? Isn't that what we decided? So has that changed?
Well, there was apprehension on the part of the township to see this land developed into housing as per discussions with board members. And they indicated that there was other land that would be more favorable to develop than this particular tract of land. So, we had talked about moving forward with selling the land in lieu of waiting for potential changes to the New Freedom sewer plant. And it is sort of geographically, it's not in the best position for the New Freedom sewer plant because it's sort of over the crest of the hill to get down into New Freedom. So we had talked about moving forward with sale. I mean, if anyone else has discussion on that and those issues.
I mean, what I've said before is that if you wouldn't buy it, you should sell it. And with where this district is right now, would we be considering buying 200 acres worth of land? No, I don't think we would. We don't need it to develop on ourselves. Like we have no need for additional facilities. So there would be no need to purchase it, and there are certainly better uses for money within the district than that, in my opinion. So
I think it's worth noting that, if we move forward and then are successful in selling the land, that the proceeds for that would be required to go into our infrastructure, into our buildings. Not that there's any short of need in our buildings, but that is this money would not be going back into the general fund. It would be allocated for construction projects.
for facilities or debt service, I believe debt service is also a valid usage.
And as far as due diligence goes, to the best of our ability, we did receive an email saying that maybe the zoning might change, but when we pursued a current sitting township supervisor, their understanding was that they said no. You're probably giving away who it is, but the length of time that said person has been on the township supervisor position said that they said that no, it wasn't going to change then, and it's not going to change now. So I mean, that's all the information we have to go on.
Right.
Dr. Bryson, do you have any
Obviously,
thoughts?
the composition of those boards can change, just like the composition of this board can change. However, it would not be a stretch to say that Shrewsbury Township has not been extremely pro-development.
They have a long-standing, consistent position.
Correct. It would not surprise if it did not change.
I'm actually going to piggyback off what you said to what you told me like 2-3 months ago. We're in the education business, not the asset holding business. If this is not something that we're going to develop on for the foreseeable future and look at the trends of our population, it's not even remotely close to needing a building. Why? Why would we have it?
So thank you for asking, Marilyn. I think if I were, I'm going to be completely honest, I think from a personal standpoint, you only have land when you have it, and when you need it, you may not be able to access the land that you're looking for. I think that's a reality. It's one that we would agree with. I think when the land was purchased, it was right for the time because the trend was growth. The prediction was heavy growth, and the district was seeing that growth. I'm comfortable enough to say now, watching the trends go exactly the opposite, and I think that's a trend that many don't realize, is that our enrollment is down and continues to go down. And now, within the past 2 years, you see a trend developing that we're comfortable saying, okay, there's a need for a reduction of staff, or, those types of painful moves when we're in the kid business, right? We're in the business of educating kids the best we possibly can. So that's a long way around to say, I respect the initial decision. I would also respect this board saying, we want to hold at this time. But I also recognize the challenge of this community from a superintendent perspective, absolutely needs some type of sustainable growth for if for the only reason, as sitting superintendent, to say, because our revenue is not only not going up, even with the little bit of building we're seeing, that is not sustaining our current level of revenue. And our expenses, as all of us know, even from a personal perspective, your expenses are going to continue to go up. And much of that is driven by things that are way out of our control. And so if that land were to be able to be utilized for some of that growth, it certainly wouldn't be enough to take us back to the revenue that we really need to maintain business. I'd be all for that. I don't know that that's what's going to happen. None of us can be certain, but I think what we know is that that's unlikely. So I can stand behind it and support it. If it was mine personally, I would never get rid of it. And so that's difficult sitting in this seat. It's a different perspective sitting in this seat. Sitting in this seat, this district absolutely, like no other time before, has to seek revenue, or we're going to continue to cut, and it's not going to stop at staff. It could potentially go to student programming, et cetera. So whatever it is we can do to help that motive of recovering revenue or increasing revenue, I have to, sit here and say I totally understand the decision.
If it was a personal choice, I wouldn't need it either unless I need the money. Currently, we need the money.
Right.
Well, and that's fair, but the money is, because it's not going to the general fund, it's not necessarily going to deal with shortfalls in the year-to-year budget. However, we have more requirements than just our year-to-year budget. We have things that need to be maintained and work that needs to be done in our current buildings. And this certainly could benefit that process that needs to be done.
I think one item just to note when we were talking about revenue, this currently does generate revenue for the district. It's not substantial, but we do lease it to a farmer. It is farmed and we receive lease proceeds from it. So we will lose revenue. Granted, presumably we would receive money, but we would lose the lease revenue of about $35,000. So just full transparency disclosure. We are making money off of the land that we're not using.
There's also that if someone were to come in and purchase the land, then, and they're making use of it, they would have a tax bill associated with that. So that could replace the lease revenue.
Yeah, I mean, when it goes back into private hands, it's going to go back into the tax rolls.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I mentioned it's clean and green, so it's
Right.
not,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
not-
substantial, but
The tax revenue on it from a farming perspective, if clean and green, would not equal what we're getting in lease proceeds, but.
So I just have a couple, I did read through the brief. Obviously, this is one of those types of issues that we don't deal with routinely, so it's sort of an anomaly in that way. If we, on our next item, if we approve the motion for it to go to auction, do we have criteria in place of what we would accept or what we wouldn't accept? Like, how would we handle that?
So should the board decide, so there's the agenda item now, it's to discuss. Next one is to authorize administration for the resolution and that. So should that be the motion or the path we take, part of the conversation would have to be in executive session as it does relate to private matters and real estate and legal matters. So that would presumably potentially be included in that resolution, But that would be something we would find out with the help of our solicitor.
So would we, if we're voting for both those things tonight, so then you would have the authorization to go out to get auction bids?
All we would do is work with the solicitor to prepare the resolution, which
Okay.
would then be voted on in September.
Okay.
Included in that resolution is the auctioneer. So we can't do the resolution without knowing who an auctioneer would be, should we go the public auction path.
And there would be a minimum in there, correct?
And so this is just to allow them to go and find an auctioneer.
Yep, so agenda item E would be find an auctioneer and prepare the resolution with all that information included. And then at that point is when the board could say yay, nay, discuss even more.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. Moving on to 11E.
Wait, don't we have to vote?
Well, this is the action item, 11E.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Please proceed.
I would like to make a motion to authorize the administration to, one, solicit proposals from auctioneers relating to the sale of the land, and two, prepare a resolution relating to the sale of the land. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Moving on to 11F, other items of business, which I do not have any. Back to you, President.
Thank you. Brings us to item 12, our committee report on transportation, health, and safety. I will turn it over to Mr. Hash.
Thank you, President Hinkle. 12A, we have the student transportation report for July 2026. Under the continued leadership of Ms. Doreen Strayer, location manager, along with our dedicated first student and SYCSD transportation team, we're headed into the new year with great momentum. We have every single route with a driver assigned, with a permanent driver assigned. That is awesome, considering last year we did not have that, so I'm very pleased to announce that. We also, with the new budget and the budget stressors, we were able to reduce 2 full-size buses and 1 minibus by combining routes, adjusting routes, and Ms. Rita did a lot of work to get that done. The upcoming year consists of 24 large buses, 4 minibuses, 2 wheelchair-equipped minibuses, 4 10-passenger vans, and we are currently in communication with First Student regarding delivery timeline for replacement vehicles to update older models in our fleet. In the meantime, all existing buses pass state inspection. We are 100% compliant, and all preventive maintenance has been fully completed, and they are ready for day one. 12B. In relation to that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the following items for 2026-2027 school year, including all the summer programs of 2026. 1 bus routes and, 1 bus drivers and 2 bus routes. May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion?
Sounds great.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion passes. 12C, fourth quarter and year-end discipline data from Dr. Ruppert.
Thank you, Mr. Hash. For the school board, you have a green-colored document.
Teal.
What did you call it?
Teal.
No, I won't go there. So we, on the one side, it's the end of year, 2025, 2026, market period for quarterly discipline. I'm actually gonna, if you flip over to the other side, we have the comparative totals from last year, end of year, to, when I say last year, 24, 25, to the 25, 26. A couple items I just wanted to point out to the board of some items under the infraction code number 47. There was an increase from 10 to 21 incidents of students being in possession, use, or under the influence of controlled substance. And I'll talk to that in a moment. And then the number 53, possession, use, sale of vaping materials from 21 to 46. For you to note that in order for those to occur, that's primarily the utilization of the detectors that we have that are located in the facilities throughout the building. And credit to Dr. Sterner, the administration, and as well as Sergeant Smock and Mr. Leitzel. And when those detectors go off, they're addressing, they're pulling cameras from the outside, identifying. So, you're seeing an increase there, but we're seeing a return because not only are the students being held accountable, but they have educational things that they're putting into place that are, teaching the students about the impacts of what they're doing. So there is an increase, but I will say that's as a result of the diligence of the administration and the staff, as well as students. Students that are seeing these things and reporting those to the administration and being addressed. The other thing I did want to note, as we did throughout the school year, if you go down to the bottom with the action codes, detentions, as we mentioned at the start of the 25-26, if they are not state reportable codes, they're not accounted as detentions, but we have been polling those amounts for non-state reportable events or incidents that have occurred. So you'll see 651 detentions. So when we add the one above it, which is S10, we got about 725 detentions for last school year compared to the previous year of 529. So you do see an increase of detentions from the previous year to this year based on how we are now polling all detentions that last year would have been state reportable, 24, 25, but it gives us the ability to compare those infraction codes. Any questions with the discipline for the end of the year?
Hopefully, the increased numbers in the vaping and controlled substance categories will actually show a decline in its use.
That is what we hope. But the one thing, we want to continue to do is educate our students on, we got those handbook meetings that are going to start, within the first couple weeks, where students are going to be reminded of the expectations and one that not to be in possession of, drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and as well as which includes, the apparatus that they're using that with. So we are providing the students with what those expectations are. So we would hope that it goes down, but I do know that from quarter to quarter, I'll continue to come back and report the data that we can compare that to previous years.
Thank you, Dr. Repper. 12D, other items of business. I have none. Back to you, President Hinkle.
Thank you. Brings us to item 13, our committee report on athletics and extracurriculars. Mrs. Hall.
Perfect, thank you. So I have the report submitted by Mr. Bonnet, says he is so kindly stands in for our district as interim athletic director until today. So anticipation of the new school year ahead, the athletic department is gearing up for another great sports season, and Warriors have continued to prepare over the summer for their upcoming sport with workouts and open gyms for the summer. And there are a few highlights from the athletic department since the last board meeting. So the YAIAA All-League All-Star Award honors senior students from last year who excelled in both their sport and in the classroom with at least a 3.5 cumulative GPA and 2 or more varsity letters during their junior or senior years. And they are Addison Coletti, Lucas Coleman, Jillian Dance, Jackson Elliott, Lucas Hanley, Noah Hernandez, Landon Kleeman, Danielle Lavery, Logan Lease, Ava Malauskas, Leah Monk, Luke Morrison, Brady Parks, Nicholas Riker, Caleb Ross, who we all know from last year as our student rep before Logan so kindly replaced him, Shane Ryan, Julia Sato, Brooke Shabdak, Timothy Shue, Ryan Simons, Nicholas Torregrosa, Emily Walker, Patrick O'Brien, Kara Zapak, and Jacob Iwanowitz, which it brings me great pleasure to say their names one last time as they're seniors and now on to the next bright future they have. So what incredible accomplishments, and we surely wish them the best this fall as they enter the next chapter as Susquehanna graduates and move on to their college and career endeavors. And a few more dates to share. Football acclimation and golf began August 10th, of course, as Logan gave us that report, and all is going well. The official start date of fall sports is August 17th, as Logan reported that earlier, but just in case you forgot, I'll report again. And then, of course, Meet the Teams night scheduled for next Thursday, August 20th at 7. Bill and I will be taking our son to college on that day, so unfortunately we will miss out. So if anybody wants to go, you're going to have a whole lot of good things to celebrate with the athletes that are going to be there in the All Stars Booster Club. They start their recognitions and appreciation of the athletes upcoming at 4:45. And also, YAIAA is now SCAC, as I'm sure you heard about that. So we'll cover that a little bit more here. So the York Adams Interscholastic Association has entered a season of expansion to better serve the growing needs of all student athletes with the addition of 3 new member schools. So it's going to be Big Spring of Newville, James Buchanan of Mercersburg, and Shalom Christian of Chambersburg, started July 1st. So the YAIAA is now officially renamed the South Central Athletic Conference because of that addition. And the SCAC has updated division alignment as well. So historically they were based on strictly school enrollment. So that long-standing practice has now been updated to make decisions based on location and sports team successes over time. And that will align teams based on their outcomes and school size moving forward to provide greater opportunity for all athletes in competition. So South Central has also updated qualifications for team sports conference-related matches, so that's the end of the year tournament playoffs, previously referred to as league or county playoffs, to the new format that ensures automatic qualifiers for division winners for SCAC playoffs, and will use a new power ranking system similar to District 3, which weighs wins and losses specifically to conference opponents, and then to determine both tournament berths and seeding. So those details were recently shared with all of our coaches beginning the fall season. They've had their meeting in August of this, earlier this month, and then they all had their updated 2026-2027 rules books for their sport, and attended their officials meetings, where any new updates and games would have been shared directly from the PIAA umps. And good luck for a great fall season. That's it.
Thank you.
Hope to see some of you guys at the games, especially the September 11th one. That's going to be a special 25th anniversary of 9/11. And so there's going to be some wonderful things for first responders, recognitions. That's on a Friday night.
Thank you. All right, item 14, committee report, other business. I have none. Anyone else? All right, brings us to 15, representative appointment reports. First, Mr. Wilson did have to drop off due to technical difficulties, but I've received legislative council report bullet points from him. So Mr. Carrington already stole the show with the big news, which is the budget passage early, so I won't say too much more about that other than it's nice to have it. There's been no movement on cell phone bills, but our current rules for our schools certainly comply with current restrictions, which are really none at the state level. The state added state recognition of bilingual graduates. That'll start in 2027. They mandated a study of standardized testing and federal accountability requirements. PSSA, Keystone, et cetera. 30 minutes of recess was mandated starting next school year, so that's through collaboration between the board and admin. We are ahead of the curve on that. Cyber charter reforms, lead testing in the drinking water, and social media literacy requirements were all areas of legislation. All right, brings us to York Tech. There was really nothing to report there. Brings us to LIU 12. Anything to report?
Thank you, President Hinkle. I respectfully have nothing to add other than what Dr. Bryson said earlier, unless he has something additional.
Nope, I think we're good, thank you.
All right. York Adams Tax Bureau.
We are good.
Southern York County School District Foundation. Mrs. Hall?
Okay, so I just wanted to touch on that legislative report. The House and the Senate are both in recess until the end of the month, so no action is going on that bill, but it is set. The Senate is still wrangling with the updates from the House. They've approved it once, so they're going to wrangle with those updates, and then that's going to come up, and there's a lot of pressure in Harrisburg about it. The governor is waiting for that so he can sign it. So it's definitely not a dead bill. They're working through that. And as far as the foundation, our next meeting is Tuesday, September 8th, so I don't have anything for you right now unless Mr. Carrington might have something to add.
Nope, this will be my first official meeting on September 8th as executive director of the foundation. I'm excited to be part of it, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm sure the foundation will be excited to hear you too. And then we'll get to see Susan again, or Mrs. Green, because she's still going to be part of that. So that concludes my report. I'll have more for you in September.
All right. 15F, other items of business. I have none. Secretary's report. We have the student activities report for June 2026, which is attached for your information. 16B, resignations and retirements. There are 8 there, which are included for your information. 16C, other items of business. I have none. 17, additional information and announcements. 17A, we have fall 2026 student practicum placement. That is Caden Babcock, 75-day combined practicum, Wilson College, placed with Jamie Myers and Emily Glockner, cooperating teachers at Shrewsbury Elementary School. 17B, the home education, outside cyber charter, and LIU Lincoln Edge cyber program are there for your information. 17C, announcements by board president and superintendent. I need to announce that just prior to this meeting, we had an executive session covering special education and security. Did I cover everything? Okay. And then the next personnel and policy meeting will be held, my voice is not going to hold up, will be held Tuesday, September 15th, right here at 5:30 p.m. And the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education will be September 17th, again right here at 7 p.m. Dr. Bryson, thank you for taking it away.
Thank you. Just wanted to congratulate Logan and welcome to the school board, Logan. Look forward to working with you throughout the year.
Thank you.
Wanted to give a big appreciation. Today was our opening day in service, and that can never happen with a whole lot of work throughout the summertime. And specifically, want to thank our administrative team, all the staff members, maintenance, custodian, everybody, 12-month support staff that are here throughout the buildings and here in the admin building, who do really work feverishly throughout the summer. It doesn't look a whole lot different than it does during the school year for many of us, but everybody did what they needed to do to put our buildings in really outstanding shape and prepare us for what I felt was really awesome opening day in service today, where Dr. McCullough was our opening day speaker. So I want to thank Wayne, who is past employee and colleague and friend of mine, who brings a whole different level of enthusiasm to an opening day message. And he absolutely did that today. And so I appreciate Wayne, if you're watching or you are watching, for that message of taking on challenges and changing them into opportunities as we move forward. I think I hit almost everybody. And lastly, big kudos to our band and color guard who also presented today during the opening day in service. They sounded amazing, and the auditorium only boasts that level of loudness, but also the level of crispness. And it is really unbelievable how good they look after a couple of weeks, which just says they really haven't been practicing a couple of weeks. They've been practicing since they finished up last year's show, and you can absolutely tell. So thank you to all the kids, and obviously Director Wes Harler, who's filled in for an outstanding band director last year and is now the main man for sure, permanently, and we couldn't have made a better choice. So thank you. Everybody have a great opening school year.
Brings us to item 18, new business.
I forgot one. New business, not on a celebratory note, but on behalf of the school district, I want to share with Jeremy that we're here to support in any way we can. I know you've experienced significant loss here recently, and please know that all of us are keeping you in our thoughts and prayers as we move forward as well. But
thank you. Thank you. New business, anyone? Hearing none, brings us to item 19A. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, we are adjourned.